Good evening, guys, and welcome to another episode of the We Know Nothing show. Like we mentioned last week, we're back with a bang, so you're not getting rid of our ugly mugs anytime soon. On tonight's special edition of the We Know Nothing show, we've got in the screen below me the one and only Daniel Jackson, all the way from his glamorous office in Barbados. Welcome to the show, Daniel. Always a pleasure. Thank you for your time for coming on, matey. Always
no, you're welcome anytime. I enjoy it. I realise it's been 6 months since I've been last on.
What's going on? It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, welcome to the show, DJ. Always a pleasure to have you on, matey. As always, couldn't do it with the best. Youngie, welcome to the show, mate. Welcome to the We Know Nothing show as always. Well, looking forward to tonight's show. And yeah, so tonight's show is going to consist of a little bit differently, a bit of a different format tonight, which is something that we just trial by error. We're going to do a little bit of talking about obviously the beloved Clarets, a bit of a match report from DJ from Burnley's last game, a bit more about our fantastic media team because they're absolutely unbelievable. And yeah, we're probably looking to finish with a Q&A session that we like I said that we're trialing at the moment. So bear with us, guys. This is the first time we've done it. So yeah. So welcome to the show again, everyone. I know this part's the boring part. If you do want to give us some feedback and stuff on how we can improve, we're all ears. Obviously, keep it constructive. No need for the negativity bollocks. And yeah, so yeah, enjoy the show. And yeah, over to you, Youngie.
Yeah, no, Mark, again, can't do it without you. So welcome back, DJ. 6 months. I didn't know it was that long, but
yeah.
Christ,
it came up. You tagged me in a post yesterday to get some Q&As, and I had a little nose. I went, when last time we were on? So I had a nose, and it was like pre-season coming up to the start of the season.
So that that'll be good for when we get round. We're going to talk on match report, but also at that point we'll get you halfway of the season. We've obviously already had a catch up, me and Mark, last week, but we'll get your feedback on where you think we are at halfway. I did want to touch on the predictions that we made at the start of the season. Me and Mark again touched on that a little bit, but
Mark's face, what's going on? Is Mark nowhere near?
No. I think he's the one that said Burnley might get into playoffs or promoted, and me and you were a bit like no chance. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was a bit hesitant. Yeah.
So yeah, welcome back, Deej. Like Mark said, we're going to do some Q&As. We've had a number of questions in from people on social media, so we're going to fire them out, and we'll all give an answer from our favourite, best five-a-side team that we've seen, down to Dyche or Bielsa for Everton. So that'll be pretty good right there. So let's start off with Burnley to start off with, and we'll go with. So we've made one signing so far. Lyle Foster, striker's coming. We said last week we're not seeing too much of him. Videos online. He doesn't look outstanding, but he's a young lad, and you just don't know what to expect, I suppose. And it looks like Michael Obafemi's going to be coming in on loan. We were expecting it to be closed today, but it looks like it might be tomorrow. What do you think so far, DJ, the signings that we've made, or the signing and potential signing coming in?
You've got to say signings, haven't you? Because we signed the Swedish defender, haven't we?
Oh, we've brought in the Swedish defender and
Ekdal, I think.
Yeah,
Ekdal. I definitely don't know. These signings, to be honest, it's like you're picking words out of a game of Scrabble, aren't you?
I'm just saying the first name, mate.
Yeah. So they're unknown quantities again, but it's the same as the beginning of the season. I didn't know anything about the likes of Manuel Benson, Stan Azarore, to name a few. But in company we trust, clearly. He's picked out these gems before, and I'm hoping these will thrive in the second half of the season. I'm sure they will do. I'm sure they'll settle in. So yeah, don't know a lot about them. Heard a couple of good things, but don't know too much in the background, if I'm honest. But yeah, fingers crossed they'll fit in nicely, I think. And Lyle Foster has already had a tour of Burnley from what we've seen. So, yeah, he'll
His
fit in
pictures
nicely.
appearing everywhere. So that's
yesterday.
It's what Burnley fans are all about, isn't it? Like, we like to have a good laugh and a joke, but, we'll touch on the media team, but they're also doing the same thing, aren't they? They're having a good old laugh and a joke with their introduction videos, which I think are going down a massive storm with the Burnley fans. But what about Michael Obafemi? Obviously, is at Swansea at the minute. Looks like we're going to bring him in on loan with a deal to buy him at the end of the season, which I see as a win-win for us. For us, really, if it doesn't end up going too well, we can say no, thanks very much. And if it goes well, then we buy him for the whatever stipulated fee it is. The rumour's 4 million, but I think he's 22-year-old. I think I saw a stat that said he scored 5 goals in 22 games, but he was coming on for like 20 minutes, and he was under 20-year-old. So
he had good stats last year.
Yeah.
Became a Republic of Ireland international. So he's not been a bad player overnight. He obviously got swayed with the move that could have come through in the first transfer window because he wasn't picked. I think they said something like November time.
Yeah, he weren't.
And when I watched them at Swansea, Burnley at the beginning of the year, that they actually, you could see for all the possession, they actually missed a striker up top.
Yeah.
In Obafemi. So I hope it turns out well, as long as we get it over the line and competition for places up front.
I think like with this Obafemi deal, I think you sort of like me and Youngie said it last week. Obviously, he's had his head swayed big time with a failed move to Burnley in the summer and stuff, and he's
age.
You spilled now.
Oh my god! Honestly, you two. I'm gonna get you some bibs next week. Honestly,
fantastic.
I think what you will look at with this Obafemi deal, for me, the most important part is getting value for your money. And I think if you look at it in the summer, I think the rumor is we offered close to 10 million for him. Now we're going to be getting him on a 6-month loan deal to end the season with a view to buying him. So like we've said, it's a win-win. But we sort of touched on it a little bit last week. I think some of the games that we've played this season, Jay's done really well in. Barnes has done well. I know you will have definitely something else to say about that, DJ. But I think Barnes has done quite well. He's held the ball up well and brought the players into play a little bit. But I think there's been a couple of times when you're looking at that team, you think if we had a little bit of pace with the players that we've got, we like Cullens and Brownhills and stuff, and Zaharis and Bensons, you can find that killer pass. I think maybe that's what company's looking at, sort of changing the dimension of the team in a little tweak here and there. But I personally think it'll be quality for us. I think to get 2 under 25 strikers in January for a combined fee of close to 15 million in this growing market and stuff, obviously, because I think Lyle Foster's potential goes up to 12.5 million. I think we add on some bonuses and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be a good deal for us. I think if you think about it, he's wanted to play for Burnley since the summer, so he'll have a big point to prove for me. But yeah, I think they're both going to be good deals for us, to be honest with you. And I think they'll do well. I'm just going to say it. I think we'll absolutely storm the league now. I don't think anyone will get near us.
No, I think the point that you made there about having a quicker striker, I think it showed at the weekend in the game, and obviously Dee's just going to touch on this, but that goal from Teller, I think if that's Jay or Ashley Barnes, they may get caught by that centre half that's chasing back there, just because that's not their game, is it? Where if we've got a fast striker, your Danny Ings, your Andre Grays, them sort of players that went in behind, scored goals like that all day long, they'd be the players that had nick them up. So outgoings, Deej, who do you see going out the door in this transfer window now that we're bringing a couple in?
Well, they've done the Luke McNally deal.
Haven't they? Yeah, he's gone out today.
I think he'll do all right. Give him some game time.
He's looked all right in cup games, hasn't he? Like
I saw him against Bournemouth, and I think he played one of the League Cup Tars early on, I think, and I've seen him he might have played at Shrewsbury, I can't remember. But I've seen a couple of cup games, and he looks all right, quite composed. He hasn't had a lot of game time, but from what I've seen of him, give him more games, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Other outgoings, the talk of Egan Riley going, again, it's to get game time. He can't be a bad player if companies come in. It's just the fact that there's so much competition, many competitions for places that they have to go out, whether it be loan or sign elsewhere, to get game time. So those are the two that I think off the top of my head. There were talk of Barnes going even before these strikers come in. And I'll happily order his taxi. That's not a problem. But that is, I can kind of see that happening more now because of these two strikers coming in.
Barnes hasn't. I know you're not a massive fan of him, and you haven't been for some time. But I mean, he hasn't had. Again, minutes have been quiet for him. He's arguably picked up minutes in the last 3 or 4 games, but I think he's not done bad in them games. But he's not that striker that fits the mould at the minute, is he?
Yeah. I mean, I'll give him his due. You can take this out of the recording if you want, because I'm going to give him some praise. When he has Mark Miller, obviously, when he started some games, he has done all right in the big moments. Your Blackburns and Bournemouth, he actually played quite well as well.
Yeah,
linking up with Benson and Zuri out the side. A little bit quieter against West Brom recently, but you're right, Youngate. It's the style of play that'll defeat him, and unfortunately, the age will catch up with him slightly in the way that we play. So I can see him going because of these signings.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head.
No, he was the person that we'd said it'd be Barnes. I think that would go out the window. If you had to bring somebody in, obviously we can't think what Vinny's doing at the minute because he's pulling them from here, there and everywhere and nobody's ever heard of these players. But if you could bring somebody in or a position that you'd want to bring in, where would you bolster the squad, do you think?
Well, prior to us signing these strikers, I said a striker.
Yeah, obviously that would have been a key area. But now it looks like we're bringing 2 in. Where now, if anything?
I would probably argue centre midfield. Yeah. Because if you think about it over the course of the season, we've always used your Cullens, Cork, and Brownhill.
Yeah.
Now, if they last the full season, good on them. That's exceptional levels of fitness in the short space of time. Saturdays, Tuesdays, your cup games, blah blah blah. They've done impressively well, but I think sometimes it may catch up with them. Munson's come in and done a good shift in midfield, to be fair, when he's come in. But again, he could be injury prone from time to time. So I just maybe a little bit of backup in those midfield areas, possibly not to challenge those 3, because you can't kick those 3 out in my opinion. No. But just a bit of backup for the bench in case one of them does tire or injury. Yeah. I can't name names though.
But not that, like I said, a position. It's not easy to go out and think about, the way that Burnley are signing at the minute. What players could you think of that we were going to go and get? There's not very many that you would roll off your tongue and say, that's who he's going to go and get, because you just don't know. But I agree. I was a big advocate of us keeping Westy, to be honest, just because I thought he gave that back up. If you're going to get a knock it late on in a game, you've got a man sat on the bench that can still come in and do a job. He's not a man that's going to come in and play 5-6 games in a row, but not anymore after his injury. But midfield for me again. So anyway, let's move on. Let's go to Deej. I want you to, if you can, give us some feedback on the Burnley West Brom game. Like, I think we all watched it, but you were there. For me, looking at it, there's a 12th man at the minute for the club, and it's the fans that Vinny talks about all the time. But your experience, you're right there in the crowd. Go on, go. You've got about 6 minutes if you want to take.
I won't fill 6 minutes, but I won't fill 6 minutes, but I'll do my best, because even though it was last Friday, it felt like a lifetime ago, to be honest. It must be a long week or something. But anyway, I'll break it down. So what I remember from the game, turning up, I remember quite a few fans in and around the ground being quite nervous about the game, because of how West Brom have, gradually built them. Well, not even gradually, they've shot up from, relegation places up to, I think they were sixth before. They were sixth coming into the game, weren't they? So there was a lot of worry and a bit of anxiety from fans, actually, that this would be the toughest home game coming into it. And I was quite naive. I thought, we've played teams in and around those positions, like your Middlesbroughs, Blackburns, and all that, and absolutely destroyed them. So I was of the opinion that I don't think this will be a tougher game as what people were saying. So that was my naivety going into it. And actually, the first half kind of panned out what the fans were worried about, because they got the early goal, deservedly so, and then sat back as much as they possibly could to hold us out in that first half. From what I remember, they left Daryl Dike up top on his own, barely got a touch in the game, and their game plan worked. We had a lot of ball, but there were no end products. Couple of penalty shouts. I mean, I'm embarrassed because I was jumping all over the place, claiming Teller had been fouled. And then I saw the highlight at half time, and he went down like a bloody Bambi on ass. So like,
it was the one before that, wasn't it? The ball into the box where.
So the Brownhill. Yeah, well, I didn't think too much about that. I didn't claim as much as Teller going down, as though he'd been shot basically.
Yeah.
So it was. So it went in 1-0 down, but I was still, and a lot of fans were still of the opinion that changes will happen, and we'll get back into this game. And that's not a thing you associate with Burnley Football Club, really, recently anyway, in terms of like comebacks and stuff like that. So we always felt there'd be a turning point, if you will. We didn't know where it had come from, but we thought the changes had happened. So, second half dominated. They sat back again. Did West Brom, defended quite resolutely, I thought. But our wingers got more into the game. And as Aurore, Benson, when he came on, although he got fouled. J-Rod leading the line better.
Yeah.
And we just looked more of a threat going forward in that second half. Eric Peters was tiring, and you could see that he didn't want Teller running through for the first goal. Not at all. Took it well. And then from there, the fans were lifted, the fans were buzzing. And we were that 12th man from there. And then when Cullen got fouled on the edge, which some of us thought were a penalty at the time, but, my eyes aren't great from the top. There were only one person to take that. And it were written in the stars for Twine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From first viewing, it looked too close to bend it and get it in the top corner. But the way he whipped that ball around, got it in the top peg. When the keeper doesn't move, you know how good that free kick is. Just know. So, crowd erupted, everyone roll over each other where we were. Good scenes, everyone jumping for joy. And it shows what a good team we are, and got a good winning mentality. We just don't know when to quit.
Yeah.
So from a fan's perspective, it's really enjoyable going on games. There's no games where you think, well, some fans were thinking, it's going to be tough, this. But you're going on games thinking, we will win this. We will. However which way. And that's great to see. So the fans are getting on well, cheering the team on, boosting the team, and seeing that winning mentality, which company has instilled marvellously, if I'm honest.
I agree.
With a massive inload of players coming in, now he's gelled them all together in a short space of time. It's nothing short of a miracle, and fair play to him and his staff.
Well, he deserves them 2 back-to-back Manager of the Month awards, doesn't he? There's no two ways about it, really.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
So from that result and previous results where we've gone on an unbeaten run, I honestly think the way we're going, we could beat the championship record of the most points. I think we could.
Yeah.
Keep it going. I can't see anyone below Sheffield United that are going to pose a threat.
No,
and every time we come on the turf, we can see these teams sitting back, defending for their lives, absolutely panicking the life out of themselves, knowing that, oh my God, we're in a game.
Yeah.
Because
they pressed a little bit, didn't they, West Brom, for the first 10 minutes, and then
but soon you could see the formation after the goal had been scored. They were just defending. They sat back so deep, and Eric Peters, to be fair, had the half of his life. He didn't have anything to deal with, really. I thought, wow, what a great centre half he is. In the second half,
but if I touch back on Barnes for a second, because obviously he started leading the line in that game. At the start of the season, when he came on, he was doing his Premier League, a Premier League defender goes into the back of him and he was jumping on the floor and he was chucking his arms up, and he's trying to take a ball like this when he's got his arms up, where it's almost like he's been told, don't play like that anymore. I want you to play this way, do this. And he's just leading that line really well. But no, Deej, thanks for that. Like you say, West Brom were touted by a lot of people in the build-up to that. Pundits were saying, potentially West Brom, they're an informed team. Like you said, under their manager, it's Carlos Carvajal, isn't it? They've changed the style of football. They've gone from relegation to edge of the playoffs at the minute. I can see him getting in the playoffs. They've had a turmoil of a few seasons with different managers and stuff like that. But yeah, like, it's great the form that Burnley are in. And I couldn't agree more, Deej. I want Burnley flying at the minute. If this form continues, then the world is Burnley's championship oyster, you would say. Because
it's scary, really. If you think back to the beginning of the season, like the odds for us getting promoted was like 10 to 11 to 1. I think at the time, because we were uncertain about company and the players being brought in. Now the gel. What a bet that would have been at the beginning of the year to be promoted from the championship first place. But there will have been people that put that bet on, because that's what they will. That's what people do. Like it's something that they will have always done, and fair play to them that did it and had the balls to put some money on it. 100%.
I want to touch on our media team, because every signing pretty much that we've brought in this season has come with some sort of snazzy, catchy video, and the last one, it's hit social media. It's all over the place. It's the Shrek, Lord Farquhar, looking into that bloody mirror, and then the three. It was meant to be 3 princesses that he was going to get, but actually it's the 3 signings, and he
or one princess.
There was 3 princesses in the mirror at the first one.
No, I mean there were 1 princess in this.
Well, he could sign. Number 1 was Lionel Messi. Number 2, Cristiano Ronaldo.
He's the princess.
Or number 3, our brand new signing, and then Burnley fans have taken that picture of him outside Gawthorpe Hall and just sent him around town. Like Deej had said it earlier off camera, but pint in big window. He's been outside everywhere. I'm surprised he's not appeared in Jazzman Grooves yet.
Well, he's still got time, hasn't he? He's been outside big window. He's had a pint at the Royal Dash. He's probably been under the culvert. Did you say the market stall you were at, Younger?
Yeah, he was outside the old, the old bridge that used to come out of the market across to the.
Brilliant. So he's seen lovely sights. He's been near Gala Bingo, hasn't
he? Yeah.
Where else has he been?
He was at Tesco's doing his shop.
Tesco's doing shop. Brilliant. Yeah. He's settling in well.
Yeah,
he's settling in well. I'm happy for him. It's brilliant.
Big day, busy day for him though. Yesterday, being in all them places, or like just goes to show like his commitment to the cause, being in all them places and wanting to get to know the area and stuff.
Yeah, and I just think it. The videos that the media team are creating are then inspiring Burnley fans to do random rubbish with the picture, and I say random rubbish because it's a really good laugh, and it's a really good laugh and a joke that they're getting out of the fans, and they're having a crack with it. And it's
well,
just
it's fair play. It is. You're right, Youngie. Fair play. I mean, I actually got the photo wrong. I thought he was behind Townley Hall because I said to Phillips, I went, "What's he doing there? Is he feeding ducks or something?" And it was actually Gawthorpe Hall. But actually, taking that photo on, you're right, Youngie, and people putting him in different places in and around Burnley. I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it?
It's that buzz that we've got back at, we arguably had it when we went first season back in the Premier or second time back in the Premier League under Dyche, and I think there was that buzz around the club again. But this time there's it's inspired. Like we were only saying last week, when do you see 18,000 fans on a Tuesday night game on turf? Like you just wouldn't see that. You'd get 8,000 or 9,000 and the rest of them would be sat at home across road. It didn't make sense.
Right. Exactly. But I think, and again, I sometimes feel like when we come on, obviously I sometimes feel like when we do these shows, I sometimes feel like I've turned into a bit of a Dyche hater. I'm not so much a Dyche hater. I just feel like it's the whole sort of atmosphere and the whole sort of remit and sort of atmosphere of the club now and the company. I can't remember like in the whole time I've supported Burnley that we've ever been so creative, ever had a laugh with so many videos we've done, and just to sort of put a different spin on it that you've not seen really. I know a lot of clubs do different things in here, there, and everywhere and stuff, but I've never seen a club really go to town on the reveal videos.
It's a comedy side, isn't it? It's the comedy side that they're bringing out.
I think that goes a long way, like with reconnecting the fans to the club as well, because I know we've just touched on it, but like 19,000 plus fans on a Tuesday night at turf, that doesn't that's down to company and the team that he's built and the link that he said as soon as he come into the club, he said, I want to connect the fans back to the club, and he's done exactly that, and that's shining through in what we're doing off the pitch as well, and the creativity. But the thing what makes me laugh is that you can actually envisage the media team and the players having a laugh about it and stuff and giggling while they're doing it and stuff, and that feel good friendly environment and stuff. But what I will say is that I watched the majority of the videos, and my favorite one, hands down, I don't care what anyone says, is the one where, obviously going back to WWE, of course, is the one where it's got Goldberg's thing on, and Bastion turns up at Rock's looking at him, hands down, like JR.
That's my favorite.
I'm just like, what is going on here? Unbelievable.
That's our favorite because we're wrestling fans as well.
Yeah,
so
of course it is, but it's genius, isn't it? Because for those that may not have known that we were signing someone and just logged on to Burnley FC and
exactly.
Announcing this video, you don't know essentially what's going on here. The Rock's talking, and then all fireworks go out, and like we can't assign Goldberg on a free. so like what is going on? But then Bastion's coming out, and you think, these videos are brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean they did the media team did try under Dyche towards the end. I mean, do you remember that Peter Crouch one?
Yeah.
With it was terrible, wasn't it? The little robot going along concrete road, leading into Barnfield. But they tried.
But they were trying, weren't they?
Give it some, So it's working a treat now, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So play to it.
Love it. Long may it continue.
One thing I have to say is that Vinny wanted to bring the fans onto the side of the club and everything like that. But for the past few years, we were already there. We just weren't getting them numbers, and it's the style of football and the game that we're playing that's now done. That's now doing that. People want to come and watch attractive football. So that's my stake on it. The take on it. We're playing attractive football, and people want to see it.
100%.
It's as simple as that. There's less lads, middle-aged lads that want to now go to and stand at Old Trafford, because that's what people would have done. They would have got ticket. I did it when I was younger. On a Tuesday night, I can get a ticket for Old Trafford. I'm going to go and watch Man United play over Burnley play. Now, actually, that attractive football, not that Man United are not currently playing attractive football, but that attractive football that we're playing is great to watch. So, if I didn't live in a different country, then I might have already got a pass for next season, to be fair. Someone may have told me I can get a season ticket for next season.
Cheers, Alex.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
So I've told her she can get a season ticket for rugby, and I'm going to get a season ticket for turf, and we've got to decide which trial we take every week. So I'm taking Isabel.
Winning.
She's sticking a finger. She's in the other room, by the way, sticking a finger up at me because I'm taking Isabel.
No swearing. It's a PG show.
Anyway, let's move on because we ain't got loads of time left and it's getting late in the day. So we're doing a new question Q and answer session. We're asking guys and girls to send in on any social media platform that we're on their questions. We've had sort of 6 or 7 in tonight, so we're going to try and get through as many as we can. Some of them are actual questions where we're going to have to give an answer, or we'll have to give an answer on them all, but some of them are put things in order and stuff like that. So let's go with Ash's question first. And he said, it's not Burnley related. Sean Dyche or Bielsa for Everton, and why?
I'll kick us off really quickly. Dyche, because he'll play that boring 4-4-2 sort of formation. He'll add a bit of steel to him. He'll play that sort of shape where they'll be able to break down and with the players that they've got in some weird sort of way, he might sort of get the best out of them for what they can do at the minute because they're low on confidence. I think Bielsa's sort of a manager that starts at the beginning of the season because
he needs a pre-season, doesn't he?
Yeah, Bielsa's that kind of manager that plays that sort of like Eddie Howe style at Burnley. You score 4, we'll score 2. So you know what I mean, that kind of style. And I think Everton just need to.
But that don't work, Mark. If they score 4 and we score 2, we get beat 4-2.
No, you know what I mean. Sure, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You plant pot. No, that's what I mean. I think Bielsa's kind of style of football isn't what Everton need at the moment. So I think if Dyche comes in, give him a deal to end the season, keep him up, and then see where he go from there. But yeah, Dyche for me.
Dyche.
I don't really have an opinion on either one, if you will. But I do. Right, I will say this. I do think Bielsa will get the job based on the links with the ownership.
Yeah.
I was listening to TalkSport on the way back, actually, from football, and not a lot of Everton fans, from what I heard, want Bielsa based on the risk that it's open, expansive football.
Yeah.
They need to. They don't actually, from a stats point of view, from what I've seen, they're not that bad defensively, Everton.
No,
if you look at the league table, there's not really a big gap. There's, they're only 2 to 3, 4 wins from getting out of there.
Yeah.
And Bielsa, so from a defensive point of view, for me, it doesn't make sense from the outside looking in that Dyche should be in that Everton position.
Yeah.
Because the defence was okay. It was the going forward, the ambition. They had no grit in trying to score goals.
Yeah,
I think Bielsa will probably give them that in terms of the fitness driving forward. I mean, you watched them for Leeds. I mean, they were exciting. Possession stats were
It's
better.
hard to drive that into players now, though, isn't it? Though that's the thing with Bielsa. He's got to get their fitness levels up when they're playing.
He'll do that. He'll do that if the players want to work.
Yeah,
under
buy
it,
into it.
They want to survive and want to play for him. They'll do that. Leeds did the same.
Yeah,
it was second season syndrome for him. Where
I just think with it being middle of the season, there are games coming thick and fast. Sometimes it is, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, or Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, and that's quite a close. If you're trying to get players to run midweek, then I'm stuck on the fence because it's exciting football that Bielsa's going to play, but he comes with, all these managers. Pep Guardiola, for instance, he's my mentor. He's done this.
Yeah.
But they play 2 completely different styles of football.
Yeah.
Which is weird. If someone's your mentor, you usually follow that style of football. Like you can see Arsenal at the minute under Mikel Arteta and how he spent time with Pep Guardiola and the style of football that they play. is a similar style of football to what Manchester City are trying to play, or what Manchester City do play is what the style of football that Arsenal are trying to play. So, you know, I get both of your points there. My heart says Sean Dyche for what he did for Burnley, and I'd like to see him get another shot at the Premier League. If he doesn't get this, then he has to take the next Championship team that comes along, really, and see if he can do what he did with Burnley and do it again. Because, you know, when he was with us with 2 seasons before he left, he was off. You know, there's chances for him potentially to go to Everton, and he didn't get it. So why would they turn around to him now? Well, chances are they'll turn around to him if they're going to, because they'll be able to steady that ship. But like you say, Deej, they don't necessarily need that defensive side.
Yeah, you're right in what you're saying. And I think if they appoint Dyche based on the last 18 months, 2 years of his Burnley career, if he doesn't change his ways in terms of the style of football, I do think that they'll possibly struggle.
Yeah, they will.
Because they need, at the end of the day, they need goals to get themselves up there.
Has he been pigeonholed into? Has he been pigeonholed into a slot though, just purely down to the fact that that's what Burnley had and that's what Burnley were going to give him, and they were never really going to do what they've done with Vinny? We touched on this last week. Would Sean Dyche have done the same as what Vincent Kompany's done if he had that similar sort of money?
Oh, no way.
So that was our answer. That was our answer last week as well.
No way, because I don't think money was the issue. Looking back,
it was scouting.
It can't have been, because it was a style of play, and he kept faith with the same players for so long. But he blamed the board for the money. Well, when he did have money, he bought players that moulded into that team. Hard workers, grafters.
Didn't buy anybody outside that mold, did he?
Eventually, you get found out. Whereas Vincent Kompany has gone, right, yeah, I've got money, but these are the players that are going to do the job and get the goals 100%. And excite the fans. And that's the difference for me. So if Dyche had a lot of Alan Pace's money, I don't think it'd matter.
So Ash, I'm going to go Ash. Your answer is 2 for Dyche, 1 heart is saying Dyche, and 1 for Bielsa. But let us know if you like the answer. We're on to Pete. Now, Pete has come forward with the best captain ever. So you can choose any captain throughout the world, throughout world football. Have a little guess. I've also put question mark Burnley. So let's give your best captain and your best Burnley captain.
Start with you.
Okay, so my best captain, who did I say? I had it in my head. Roy Keane, Manchester United. I think he epitomised what a captain should be. Always hardworking, and if you kick one of his players, he was going to kick you. It was quite simple.
One.
And then for Burnley, I've got to go big Steve Davis. When he captained the side for quite some time, and again he was that leader on that pitch. It was massive, and you could hear him when you're in them stands. Yeah, he didn't talk; he shouted, didn't he? And, I think the standout one for me, Steve Davis. There you go.
DJ,
he's writing them down.
No, to be honest, I've written down pretty much similar to what you've said, Youngie, before you mentioned it. So I've put your captains: Roy Keane, Vieira, John Terry, off the top of my head. I had to think about that. And I'll second you, Youngie, Steve Davis, in terms of a captain, a leader. I need to sit down and really think about the captains that I've watched in the past 20 odd years at Burnley, 25 years. But yeah, Steve Davis stands out a mile because you're a leader, shouting, got them organised, and was had a hell of a shot in him, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Well,
so those are mine.
Similar to yours, boys, really, in the sense of the outside the Burnley one. The one I do want to give a mention to is Brian Robson, because I feel like, knowing a lot of United fans and stuff, they class Brian Robson as probably one of the best captains of the club's ever had.
Mm.
And like we've said about the Burnley, he epitomised what it meant to play for Manchester United, and he were hard as nails, protected his players, but also dug them out when they needed to be dug out when they weren't performing and stuff. And I think that's what's That's what makes you a good leader. Burnley-wise, I'm going to go 2. I'm going to go Steve Davis for all the points that you've said, because I think he were absolutely phenomenal. But I'm also going to say Ben Mee. And the reason why I'm going to say Ben Mee is because he has been a part of our most successful time as a club, and he moulded from the worst left back at the club who kicked the ball out on the left hand side until Darts put him in the middle, and then all of a sudden he just become our mainstay. And a lot of the success was led to how good we were defensively, and I do think that's accredited to Ben Mee. And you could see him, he always putting his body on the line and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go with Ben Mee and Steve Davis for the Burnley captains.
You can't say we're worst left back in Wales.
DJ, you can't be a left back. You can't be a left back and play a ball at line and kick ball out of play with your left foot if you're on left hand side.
Well, I used to.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, but you're right footed.
Yeah, you're right footed.
Oh well, yeah.
Well, your left foot was for standing on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, true.
No, I couldn't agree more there, boys. Pete, your answer is a couple of captains, all three of us said Roy Keane, really. We had a Brian Robson chucked in there. For Burnley, it was unanimous that Steve Davis, but again, fair shout out for Ben Mee there on the end, who again was there throughout the most successful time at the club. This is a really good question here. So Martin has come in with a question. The most improved player under Vinny since he's taken over. So who played under Sean Dyche, but now plays under Vinny? Who's the most improved player?
That's a tough one, that, I think.
So not a Vincent Kompany signing.
Not a Vincent Kompany signing.
Just a Dyche player. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Brownhill.
Okay.
The reason why I'm gonna say Brownhill is because I feel like until recently he's added a lot more to his game. He seems to have got a little bit of steel about him now. You see him throwing himself into tackles, and he's popped up with the odd goal here and there this season. I just think he's got a new lease of life with Cork and Cullen behind him, and he don't have to sort of worry what's behind him. We know under Dyche a lot of players did a lot of running backwards. So I feel like with Brownhill, we've seen what we actually tried to sign when we signed him from Bristol City, that sort of attacking midfielder, so to speak. But yeah, for me, Brownhill.
DJ?
I'm going to shout that one. I've gone Jack Cork.
Oh, that was mine. We'll have to call someone else.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. I can do someone else. Someone else is close. Go on.
Right, fair enough. Right. So the reason for that is towards the end of last season, you could see he was struggling, I think, in the Premier League. He had a better bond with Brownhill towards the end under Michael Jackson, but you could see in the legs
Right. That was going on. I could hear it in my head before he did it.
Mike Jackson. Sorry, I apologise. Where was I?
Mike Jackson.
Mike Jackson. He's doing it again. Towards the end, for me, he just didn't quite have the legs to make it in the Premier League. And then all of a sudden, it's like he's 25 again. Yeah. I think he's got that energy, that buzz. He's playing in a better role to let Brownhill and Cullen roam a little bit more. But he's still there. He's still tidy on ball. He's got I mean, the jokes before the West Brom game, didn't they, that he's the most booked player, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's had 10 yellow cards already. So he's given away a lot of fouls. But I think he said that they're encouraging him to break up the play if opposition's on the attack. So
he gets the number of bookings for just when that player goes round him, he just clips him and then brings him down, stops the player from attacking.
Just stops the play. And fair enough if that's the way he has to play. But his all-round game's improved loads. He's just taking it easy, passing it around, playing to the way Vincent Kompany wants to play. Because I'm choosing him on the basis of fans just kind of had enough that he was getting a bit tired, and you thought we need new legs in that midfield. When actually he's proved a lot of people wrong, and fair play to him. He's my most improved player.
my most improved player was Jack Cork for them very same reasons. But I'm going to say, because my second most improved player would have been Roberts. I thought, I don't know, a lot of people were still calling for Lowton and bring Lowton back, especially at the start of the season. Lowton. And I felt for Roberts a little bit, but also his mind was, he was going to go to World Cup. So there was a lot of talk of him not playing as well as he could be. 2 mans on the World Cup. The World Cup was in the middle of the season. It was no one knew exactly what was going to happen. He's come back from the World Cup and he's a completely different player. So for me, yeah, he's solid. He's quick. He fires into a challenge, doesn't he? Like, so yeah, for me, it's Jack Cork, but Roberts. Yeah. So Martin, thank you for your question. Martin, your answer is Roberts, Jack Cork, and Brownhill. There you go.
Nice one, Tucker.
So the next two are a little bit longer. So we'll go with Liam's first. Liam has asked, rank the loan players on chance of staying. So the loan players that we've got in, can you rank them in order that they might stay next season? It's a bit of it's a tough question, I must admit. So loan players, Teller,
loan players,
Harwood, Bellis, Matson, Bayer, and the guy from Brentford. I'm not even going to... You what?
Devasoglu.
Yeah, that's his name. Devasoglu.
Well said.
Thank you.
So rank them in order of chance of staying next season. There's
a chance. List them again, Youngie. Sorry.
There's a chance that Teller.
Yeah.
The guy from Brentford.
Yeah, Harwood. I'm not writing that down.
Just put the guy from Brentford. Harwood, Bellis, Bayer, and Matson.
Okay. Right. Okay. Bayer, 100%.
I've missed one here. Did you say 6?
5. Yeah. No, 5.
5.
Oh, you did say 5. I thought you said 6.
Yeah.
Right,
Bayer, 100%.
Yeah.
THB, 35%, because I think it's going to be a struggle getting him, because I think City have got a big future for him. I do think we'll get him back in on loan next season in Premiership.
Yeah.
Devasoglu, 0.
Yeah, he's going to go in this window. I think they'll let him go.
I think they'll send him back. Matson and Teller, I'm going to say Matson probably around about the 65-70% mark. And Teller, I think Teller's quite high. I think Teller's going to be about 85%, I think.
Right, if you can just give me in percentages, DJ, that'd be great.
You're not getting any percentages of me. I'm going to rank them in order from 1 to 5.
Perfect. Right, that's how I would have done it as well, mate. Thanks very much.
Right, so most likely to stay, I'll go from top to bottom. Most likely Bayer, followed by THB. And then it's a toss-up, you like what I did there, between Teller and Matson.
Thanks. So they're
and Devasoglu, unlikely he'll stay, might even go back in January to Brentford, possibly. So yeah, he's unlikely to stay on.
Do we have a buyout on Bayer? Because if we do, then we can't not let him go. Put the money in now. Let's get it done. Let's get him signed. Because arguably, I would say he's been one of our best players this season. So the way that he plays football, I love the way that he gets the ball and drives into Bellis has been good and he can pass the ball around and whatnot. But the way that he drives into that middle of that park, I really like. I really rate that. It's a Rio Ferdinand style football for me. Yeah. And then, I would say Teller's next because they should have brought him back realistically. Southampton. They needed that player. They needed pace. They're struggling. I would have got him back. I would have taken him back all day long. So, yeah, I will want Teller. Matson's been class as well, so Matson's my third. Bellis, I have to agree with Mark. I think it's going to be quite low. I think the chances are we might bring him back in on loan and get a year's loan experience for him in the Premier League. Then Man City can make an assessment on him from that. And I really hope the guy from Brentford leaves this transfer window, because he's been non-existent, hasn't he? He's just if we're paying his wages, we may as well get rid of him, because he's it's just a waste of money.
Yeah.
So Liam, I'm not going to try and repeat what orders we got them all in, but you can have a listen back. But thanks for your question.
Cheers, Liam.
And you can take Mark's percentages down, can't he?
Oh yeah, I write them down. If you want them, I'll put them in a message afterwards.
I think his total came to about 165%.
We've got a 100%, a 35%, an 85%, a 65%, and a 0%.
Jesus.
Anyway, let's move on to the next question. The next question comes from Scholze. He has fired at us. So a five-a-side team from players that the three of us, have seen live. Now, it's not easy, but I'll fire mine out first. Fabian Barthez, Rio Ferdinand, Gerrard in midfield, Owen up front, and I've put in Big Steve Davis at the back just because I wanted to stick a Burnley player in there, and who's better than Carves at the back. So
yeah,
there you go.
Exactly. I'll just get.
And just because in five-a-side football, could you imagine him striking that ball at you?
No thanks.
Move out of the way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. No thanks.
Mine. DJ, you go next.
You put him on the spot. Oh, he's doing you dirty there, DJ. He's doing you dirty.
That's well bad. My page is still blank.
He's doing you dirty there, mate.
So goalie wise, I've gone Burnley, but I've gone 50-50 between Tom Heaton and Nick Pope.
Yeah.
Because I liked them both for the way for what they've done for Burnley. So that was hard to separate. So I'll split them in half. Rio Ferdinand and John Terry, I've watched at the back.
Wonderful.
Rio, I watched in a chat. I didn't think he played at Turf, but he did. I have watched him in a Champions League game when I've been to Old Trafford a couple of times. Got some freebies. And John Terry. Midfield, I've put Cesc Fabregas. I thought it was quality. I think I've watched him play. Possibly played for Arsenal against Burnley, but he definitely played for Chelsea against Burnley.
Yeah. He played for Chelsea in that when they beat us 4-2 that first game of the season when we went back up, when Arfield scored first. He played in the middle.
Yeah, I think that's the game I'm on about, because I've also put Eden Hazard up top. Eden Hazard was the best player I think I've ever seen at Turf. I think. But there's a lot of games.
Cristiano Ronaldo not play at Turf?
No, he didn't do anything.
Didn't do it.
He might not have done all at Turf, but he did something in football.
I thought the question, well, I don't know if the question's right or wrong, but in terms of like who you've seen, your best five-a-side team that I guess you've ever seen on a football pitch.
That's what I was asking. Did you not see Cristiano Ronaldo play on Turf? Just because he was better than Eden Hazard.
He went missing.
Did he? Oh, well, there you go.
He was in Ben Mee's pocket, weren't he?
Probably. Mark Phillips.
Nick Pope. I think quality shot stopper, especially in five-a-side nets. I've gone with Gaffer, Big Vinny. And then I've gone, for me, the most cultured midfielder we've had.
That's me.
The last 25, 30 years. Sorry, Younger, to disappoint you, mate. Stephen Defoe. I think he's absolutely unbelievable footballer for the club. And then I've gone with Wayne Rooney and Steven Gerrard. And I think Wayne Rooney gives you that bullish sort of five-a-side player that you want, who's just going to go around smashing everyone. And I think, and that's what I've gone for. But a special mention for two subs. Bit disappointed, but two subs I've gone for. He didn't say professional footballer, so I've gone, obviously, the captain of Borrowdale when I were there, Mr. Young, and the best left back in the league, DJ.
I went my subs. We went back to Borrowdale as well. I went for Mark Harrison because obviously he can play in goal as well as Michael Owen was injury prone. So he could go and play up front for me as well. And I went for DJ at left back because I didn't want to put Mark in my team.
Out of order. I tell you, honestly.
You could have been gaffer.
But
manager.
I explained to you that I had to put Harry in because he can play in a number of positions, and I needed another defender. So it was either DG or Christian. Probably should have picked Christian, to be fair, because fucking him and Steve Davis at back. Could you imagine anybody trying to go round him?
Yeah.
No one's getting past them two fuckers, are they?
No. I'll give you that one.
I'm pretty sure Christian's still sliding on boarding somewhere. Just sliding through some fucker.
How about that? He was getting his fucking dashboard changed, something like that.
Yeah, he's starring in the new Terminator film, isn't it?
Terminator 25, starring Christian Green.
We've all picked really good five-a-side teams, and all for different reasons. Apart from DJ didn't pick his subs, so let's have your subs, DJ.
If I'm not on your subs,
honestly, I can't believe you're even asking me that, because it took ages to just drum up 5 off the top of your head.
Well, you just have to pick two. You just have to pick 2 players from.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. Glenn Little, I'll put him in. I loved watching him on.
That's a shout.
I absolutely loved him, so I'll put him on bench. That's it. I'll just have one player.
Perfect, Glenn Little it is. So, Scholesy, thanks very much for your question. Enjoy and fire yours into the chat, and we'll.
He'll like me picking Cesc Fabregas from his Arsenal days.
Oh yeah, he will. Yeah,
big time. Yeah, good on that. So disappointed it make anyone's five-a-side team though. That's kind of grim, that, isn't it?
Yeah, DG only named one sub and wouldn't even pick you in his subs.
I didn't do that intentionally, actually, but it does look bad. So
yeah. Absolutely, stitch me out. Cheers, boys. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
So I've got one more question, DG, because obviously we did ours at the start of the season, where people were going to finish, blah blah blah. 6 months later now, that's all gone to pot. I'm pretty sure. I can't find the teams, but it's absolutely all gone to pot. Just let me press this again. And Burnley are smashing the league. Where can we see Burnley finish? I know we've already slightly touched on it in some conversation. Where can we see Burnley finish? And do we think it's Burnley, Sheffield United that up already?
Yeah, 100%. Burnley will finish top.
Yeah.
If you look at the team, like I said earlier, if you look at the teams below Sheffield United, who we've played against, they're nowhere near the standard that Burnley and Sheffield United have set. They're nowhere near. I mean, how can Blackburn be in the playoffs with 13 defeats?
They lost more games than the bottom of the league at one point, and I don't know if that's still the same now. That
just shows the inconsistency of that league below third place. So for me, when you look at that as a whole, we've nothing to worry about. We'd have to go really tits up as a team to really lose that position. Which ain't going to happen. So, it's good. It's nice being cocky, middle to end of Jan, going, go on, Burnley, we'll rinse this league, But that's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
And it's great. So, yeah, fair play to the team.
Follow-on question off that, Deej, follow-on question off that. When we get promoted then, where do you see us finishing next season?
Now, I think, depending on the loan signings that we were talking about earlier, if we keep the majority of them, I could see us around
Champions League place, yeah?
No, not quite there. Probably about 8th. Probably about 9th. I'm going to go with 9th. I'm going to be like, like where like Leeds started.
Yeah.
Leeds, Brighton sort of area.
Yeah.
Where they finished and how they played from the first season they came up. I think if we keep the team as it is and improve on the players we've already got, I can see us finishing about 8th and 9th.
I've put 9th. Mark Phillips, go for it, because seeing as how we've done this, we might as well
top Championship record points,
I was asking for Premier League. I've just put top.
Oh right, yeah, no, yeah, Championship record points, yeah, winning league, Championship record points for me. We'll take over that mantelpiece from Reading, and yeah, similar to you, top 10 finish. Because I just feel like
give me an exact number inside that top 10.
7th.
7th. See, no, I think 9th in and around that mid-table area. I think we'll be nowhere near top 7, 6 based on points. But you could see signs against the likes of United in the cup,
that's what I was just going to say.
And we didn't do ourselves,
That's what I was
badly at all. Really, we were composed on the ball, and arguably we had a weaker team named out, really, didn't we? That game, but still showed signs that we can compete with the elite, if we can call it that, at Man United.
Yeah, so. Exactly, and that's the point. That's the point I was just going to touch on. If you look at I know Bournemouth are sort of a similar level to us in the sense of like style of play in such and like caliber and league position and stuff like that. But I think in both games, what's been impressive for me is that normally against you when we play like United and stuff, we look really panicky, and we look like we've gone there to set up not to get beat, and we don't really have a go. I think when we played them in the Carabao Cup, I think we more than held us on. We had chances. I think with a sort of different team selection, we maybe could have got some out of the game potentially at a push. But yeah, I 7th, looking back, I think 7th is a little bit optimistic. I do think it would be between probably.
I've put 7th down now, so that's unlucky.
Well, 9th or 10th.
You can't choose now. I chose that.
7th, you guess. You went 7. I'm saying 12th, by the way. I think we'll be a little bit lower. And I want us to finish higher than that. So I'll say 12th, because just looking at the teams that are there or thereabouts at the minute in the Premier League, I think we're better than the ones below 12th, really. And the teams that are going to come up, arguably Sheffield United will strengthen. The other team whoever comes up out of the playoffs will strengthen.
Yeah.
But they'll have to strengthen a hell of a lot. And I see the likes of, next season, your Nottingham Forest being sucked in, your Villas being sucked in, your Leeds being sucked in, because they're all there or thereabouts this season. Obviously, Villa are not there or thereabouts. Villa are 11th, but I can see them being sucked in next season. But
Villa?
Again,
yeah.
Really? I don't.
Not with Emery in charge. I think they'll go from strength to strength.
Yeah.
You're right about your Leeds, Forest maybe. I think Forest will still go down this season. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think
But,
I don't think Villa will fall.
Yeah, that.
You're in these crazy.
12th is my.
You're in these crazy things. You honestly, what did you say? What did you say? Get promoted this season?
Swansea.
That right?
Swansea. Yeah.
That's why
my guess.
This is
my guess is apart from Burnley though, have been all right. I said Sheffield United, Middlesbrough. I can't remember the other one.
Didn't you say? Weren't you like? But this is why it's good.
This is why I'm annoyed that I can't find that piece of paper, but I have moved to a different country since then.
Well, we'll let you off with that. But this is why these things are good, because obviously you've got 3 different sort of at the beginning of the season, 3 different sort of like views on where we will be and what, looking in, like DJ, you went for the sort of approach of first season, bedding in, get the players in, get a style of play, stuff like that. Younger, I think you went playoffs. I just said top 2 because I was just optimistic, because I just thought with the caliber of players with companies links and stuff, I just thought I didn't think we'd be as good as we are, but I definitely thought we'd get top 2. I did get Norwich wrong.
I went.
It came to me. That was my 3rd, Norwich. I didn't put them.
Norwich are 5th at the minute. Middlesbrough 6th. Sheffield United 2nd. So I went Swansea. Now they're on 39 points and playoff spot currently at 42. So they're not miles out of it, but that's 12th is on 39 points. So, but it's the Premier League, isn't it? Like, got it. Anything can change in the Premier League, can't it? So,
I thought they were quite a good side, but like I said earlier, they need a striker really to like push themselves up there. Yeah, in possession, they're a fantastic team. I'm quite impressed with him.
I picked Swansea because I knew how good Michael Obafemi was, but they've just not played him.
I'm not having that.
Yeah, new one.
But no, honestly, that's it for my question. That's it for them questions. Thanks everybody that's sent them in. You know, if you've got any more, keep them coming. It doesn't have to be purely around Burnley. We will try and put a swing on it towards that, but as we've done with a couple of them. But you know, it's a bit of fun. Opens the show up to you guys as well. You're not necessarily coming on it, but you're giving us some questions, and yeah, it's a good laugh. A little bit longer show tonight, but we have got 3 people answering all the questions, so it does take a little bit longer, but it is what it is. So, DJ, thanks for coming on. Let's not leave it 6 minutes to come on the next one.
No. You know, I'm open to any time you want me on. I'm more than happy to do it.
See you in a couple of weeks then.
Yeah, book me in. That's fine.
I think that's it. I think we'll be back in a couple of weeks. I don't think we'll be going next week. So I think it'll be a couple of weeks just so we've got some more stuff to talk about. Let's hope Burnley is still on this unbeaten run. So yeah, Deej, thanks very much. Mark, as always, couldn't do it without you, buddy. And yeah, that's the We Know Nothing show. Thanks very much.
See you later, guys. Enjoy it.